So in this video what we're going to do is look at the unwrapping of the model to a flat plane to allow us to texture it. So I'm going to just save this plane that I've got as a ground plane and put it on a layer. So I'm going to create a layer from the selected object, and this layer I'm just going to recolor deep red and call it plane. And this is just so I can hide the layer a little bit easier. Now, as we look at this object, we're going to look at it in the 4 view again. So in the 4 view, and I'm going to reset my grid sizes, my settings and preferences under display and grid. And under here it says how we want grid lines. Well, I want grid lines every, let's say we want them every 10 units, and apply. Or we could have them every 2 units with 5 subdivisions, and apply. We need a new layout now to look at how we will unwrap this model. To get this new layout, I'm going to use the outliner and the perspective window. In 2016 I can actually change the outliner panels in this little tab here. In later versions this is sort of changed, so we would change this up here in panel and UV editor. It's also worth setting this window to have texturing on as a default. Now if you're happy with the way that the windows are set out, you can actually save this layout. So I could save this layout to another menu. So if I went, say, to the polygons menu, you can see we've got this polygons menu, there's a few spaces at the end of this. I can go to the display, and we can go, to the windows, and I can go to saved layouts and save. Underneath saved layouts we can save to current layout scene. So we can save this, we could call this UV, edit, and then if we hold down Control and Shift under Windows when we go into saved layouts where UV edit is, if we left mouse click on there, it will be added to our shelf. So if ever I'm in a different format, say I'm in this format and I want to go back to it, I have a quick key there. It could also be added through saving the current layout here, and we can actually change this so that we've got our planes in an organized fashion. So now we've got this set up, what we're going to do is look at unwrapping the UVs. So what are UVs? Well, the UVs are points on a flat plane to represent the polygons on a 3D plane. So if I select a face, for instance, as you can see these faces, we can see that this correlates to the faces that are in here. Here we have the faces, and as you can see, because of the way that we modelled this, you can see that the faces, although they look flat in the 3D, are actually all bunched up together in here, and we need to release that. And that's because this object was made with default UVs for a cylinder. So if I was to make a cylinder again, you can see that this is the layout for default UVs. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a choice about where I want the seam line to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this edge, and I'm going to select this edge and double tap select with the left mouse button. That will select the edge all the way down. And then with the right mouse button selected and holding down the control key, I will tell it to go to faces. And you can see that then expands this out. If I just undo that, I can actually tell it to go with the same selection with control and right mouse click. I can tell it to select the edge ring. There we go. and that will select all of those edges in a ring. And then I can go in and with the Control left mouse go to faces again. Now I have those selected, I can actually go to the under the modeling menu set, go to UVs and create a cylindrical, inserting the projection before any deformers, creating a cylindrical unwrap. Here you can see the unwrap being performed. If I use the 3D manipulators, I can drag these and close these together. There you can see that. And then inside the UV editor I can actually select a UV shell, which is in here. So if we go to UVs, we can use this to select a UV shell to move them, and that will select those. They're all bound together, but they're all separated out now. And we can use this bigger tile to help us space things out. So the next set of UVs we might want to use, to select, would be maybe these UVs and these UVs. Now, as these are undone, I'm going to actually just go straight in and ask it to unfold all the UVs. I'll just work that out. Sorry, I need to select the UVs first and unfold them. There we go. Now what you can see is the UVs have actually been unfolded on here. Now I need to combine these UVs, which are the ones at the bottom here, with the ones on here as well. And to do that, I'm going to select these faces and these faces. Because I'm in the selection mode, it's selecting them as UV shells, but I can actually tell it to go to face. And I'm going to do a planar projection using the y-axis. And then we can actually scale those UVs down and we can position them in place. And that's another projection that's in place. Now you can see that when we did the unfold, it's actually repositioned and reorientated some of those UV tiles that we've created. So this is now ready to start texturing, and we're going to look at that in a separate video.